Welcome to Golden Hardcore, a challenge series where we are trying to make as much gold as possible in Guild Wars 2 on a character that only has 3 lives. Today I want to dive deep into one specific crafting material, Amalgamated Gemstones. This is an item that a lot of people who have been playing the game for a while should be familiar with, and is likely that something that newer players have accidentally glossed over. Amalgamated Gemstones are able to be selected from Heroes' Choice chests from certain meta events around the world, meaning that you have the option to pick other things, but generally people will pick the Amalgamated Gemstone because it is worth the most gold. Each one can be sold on the trading post for about 1 gold each, making this a pretty decent item to get during meta events on top of every other thing that you can get through each respective meta. For the uses of Amalgamated Gemstones, they are needed for a wide variety of different things, but the 2 most prominent things is to create crystalline ingots as well as funerary incense that are both needed for the crafting of many legendaries in Guild Wars 2. Each legendary in the game costs quite a bit of gold, and a decent chunk of that gold comes from Amalgamated Gemstones. If you are somebody who is trying to create legendaries, it can definitely be a good idea to spend time getting Amalgamated Gemstones to help out your efforts. But since you need so many Amalgamated Gemstones, they end up selling for that about 1 gold each, which makes this a good item to just sell straight up on the trading post for people who want to earn a little extra gold. For us, we want some gold, so let's try to get some Amalgamated Gemstones to sell for a bit of gold. Now, there is a crafting recipe that you can gamble with to get Amalgamated Gemstones that I will shout out, but there are 20 total Heroes' Choice chests from different meta events that you can do to get these. Let's mention all of them and then dive deep into the ones that I personally prefer. You can get one from Omnitus, Orc Basin, Citadel of Zakros, 2 from the metas in Inner Niles, 2 from the 2 convergences, Crystal Oasis, Domain of Abbey, Dragon's End, Dragon's Stand, Equivod Wilds, Elon Riverlands, Gaia La Delve, New Kining City, Saitung Province, Skywatch Archipelago, Tango Depths, The Desolation, and Verdant Brink. Now for some people, some of these meta events are more fun than others, and it all depends on personal taste. Additionally, some of these meta events are faster than others, which makes them more worthwhile. First, let's look at one of the most popular, which is maybe my favorite to do specifically for an Amalgamated Gemstone. Verdant Brink is a massive map with a ton of stuff going on with multiple different outpost-centric meta events, and then a massive map-wide meta during the night. During the nighttime meta, many bosses will spawn in multiple different places around the map. Killing any of these bosses is what you need to accomplish in order to get an Amalgamated Gemstone. But there is one boss in particular that most people will farm, the Wyvern Matriarch. Lots of people will wait at the spawn location for the Wyvern Matriarch in order to fight her. You can easily get up here with the Sky Scale once you have that unlocked, but if you don't, it's super easy to wait at the Pact Encampment and then take a chopper up to the boss to fight her with everyone. If you have a very slow loading time, there is a chance that you might miss the boss since she can die pretty quickly, but she stays alive long enough for most people to be able to participate. The fight itself is incredibly easy, though for us on a hardcore character, we do need to be careful, but with so many people around here, it makes the fight just slightly safer for us, which means we can easily get an Amalgamated Gemstone for little effort. On top of all of that, there's one big aspect about this boss that blends into another aspect of making gold. Lots of people will pick a specific character on their account to come to this location and just sit here, never leaving to go do something else. Or that person will log onto this character when it is time to fight the Wyvern Matriarch, get their Amalgamated Gemstone, and log off this character and back onto the other characters until the next day. This makes everything surrounding this boss just that much easier and more convenient for people, where it may even be worthwhile for you if you have a character that you aren't planning on playing for a long time to bring that character here and to log into that character every now and then for an Amalgamated Gemstone. If you do the Wyvern Matriarch, it is actually getting pretty close in time to the next meta event that I enjoy doing for Amalgamated Gemstones, the Chalk Garant. In Tango Depths, this is a pretty big boss fight that many people should recognize with the 4 lanes that the entire map has to split up into to fight the boss. The 2 easier lanes that are good options for newer players are Ogre Lane and Scar Lane, while the 2 harder lanes are Radanova's Lane and New Hawk Lane. Ultimately, any of the lanes are good to do and will eventually get you an Amalgamated Gemstone. Way back in the day, this meta was actually pretty challenging, but nowadays it is a surefire shot to complete, meaning that this is a surefire way to get an Amalgamated Gemstone. If you are new to Heart of Thorns, you do need to be careful about the chalk if you do not have the New Hawk Alchemy Mastery. For us, I do have it, and against my better judgment, I still went for this meta event because I wanted the Amalgamated Gemstone, and fortunately, it worked out fine for me. Now once the meta event is complete, you get your Amalgamated Gemstone, meaning this only takes around 5 minutes to get the gemstone, plus all of the other loot. But if you want even more loot, you will have to wait an additional 11 minutes for the cannons to blast the wall so you can loot everything behind it. Many people will stay and wait, many others will leave and go do other things. It just depends on what you prefer. But just like how we transition from the Wyvern Matriarch to the Chalk Garant, we have another boss that we can do shortly after the Chalk Garant, Octavine. You can go to Orc Basin immediately and wait, or you can do something else and then meet up closer to the meta event's time. I would say that this meta event is a bit more difficult than the Wyvern Matriarch, but easier than the Chalk Garant, but it beats both in the total amount of gold you can get from the meta because of all the extra loot available. But just like the others, getting the Amalgamated Gemstone is pretty quick and easy to do, and doesn't take too much time at all. And these 3 meta events are fun to do in succession, with short breaks to go do other stuff if you desire, or to farm things in the map itself while you wait, which with every factor combined just makes these metas great to do in general, but particularly good for the Amalgamated Gemstones. On top of all of these, there's another meta event that is very popular to do, and is one that I like a lot, Crystal Oasis. This meta event is incredibly easy to do, so easy in fact that most people actually just AFK and wait for the Choya Pinata to spawn to kill it for their Amalgamated Gemstone. If you want, you can do that, but the meta event itself is pretty fun to do, and I definitely encourage participating. The casino coins you get can be traded in for special cosmetic prizes, or can be consumed for some experience. These 4 in particular are the ones that I like to do for Amalgamated Gemstones, as they are simple and quick. The first 3 also give a lot of bonus loot on top of the Amalgamated Gemstones, and can be worked into a specific daily train that you can come up with yourself to hit all 3 of them in a day. And every other meta event that gives a Hero's Choice chest can also be considered as options to earn Amalgamated Gemstones as well. It just depends on what you like to do, to some extent what time of day you're playing, and whether or not you think any one thing is worth it. Beyond Amalgamated Gemstones specifically, I spent more time on this character, just doing random things around the world. I ran a few metas a few more times throughout the week, completed some dailies, and just earned some random gold in some random ways. Additionally, I wanted to take some more time before the end of this specific video to just work on progressing this character and account a little bit further. Getting a few more masteries was the biggest thing I wanted so that I can interact with more of the world, but also just unlocking more waypoints and whatnot will help us out in the future with whatever different things we want to look at for making gold. Really quickly, I want to take a moment to discuss the idea of hardcore challenges, or challenges in general in Guild Wars 2. I've dabbled a little bit in these ideas, and people seem to like them a decent amount, at least compared to some other Guild Wars 2 video ideas you could come up with, but of course this idea is a bit less popular than other video topics as well. Across the board, there haven't been too many people coming up with challenges in Guild Wars 2, but it is really cool to see some other people doing so. A sentiment I've seen a lot is that Guild Wars 2 doesn't really provide the opportunities for challenges, given the fact that the game is relatively easy, that there aren't really any opportunities for surefire restrictions like a hardcore setting, that having a completely fresh character requires having a completely fresh account, and a variety of other things as well. And ultimately, I think it just depends on the individual for what they enjoy doing and how they want to approach the game. If you do want to restrict yourself in some way for fun, do that. Beyond the series, whenever it may end, should it be in a month or in more than a year, I have ideas for more challenges, but I feel like I may never get around to doing them specifically for a variety of reasons. One idea is making Guild Wars 2 as difficult as possible and seeing how far you could get, such as by playing an elementalist character where you can't equip any weapons, armor, skills, or anything else, and you have to kill Zaitan without entering downstate a single time. A more fun idea is an adventuring hardcore character that is zone locked, where you go across Tyria one zone at a time and have to map complete it while doing odd jumping puzzles and whatnot before spinning for the next zone. Ultimately, while a lot of people feel like Guild Wars 2 doesn't have a ton of opportunities to challenge yourself, as long as you don't care about pure optimization, there is truly a lot available for you to do. And while I may never attempt every challenge that could ever be conceived, you should definitely give some a try. After some time, I return to Lion's Arch and can pick up whatever gold I happen to have waiting for me in the trading post to reach our official grand total for this episode, with a total of 372 gold, 2 silver, and 35 copper on this account. We have played for nearly 20 hours and have still died a total of 0 times. And it was fun to deep dive into a very specific item in Guild 2 and how to get it alongside my personal favorite ways to get it, and of course we briefly talked about a couple of other ideas as well. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all are taking great care of yourselves. Have a good one, everyone.